Hey everyone, I'm James McCormick, and welcome to the first episode of the Jmack Sports Pod. Thank you, thank you. So for those that don't know me, I'm a junior sports management major at UMass Amherst. At UMass Amherst, I'm the club relations chair for the McCormick Student Leaders, or as otherwise known as MSL. I also am the podcast director and host for the McCormick Student Leaders podcast. And so why I'm starting the JMax Sports Pod is basically I want to get more podcast experience because I do it at school and I have a lot of fun doing it, and I wanted to get more repetition and practice in. And I also get to talk about my favorite sport topics that I might not get to cover on my podcast. And then I also have a chance to talk to my friends about them too. And speaking of one of my friends, sitting next to me here is a broadcaster for the University of Miami Studio radio station, and also my former broadcast partner back at high school, Luca Mucciardi. So, Mooch, introduce yourself a little bit.
Thanks, James. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Luca Mucciardi. I'm a junior now at the University of Miami, and I work within a bunch of our athletics, mostly for WVUM Sports, covering Hurricanes football, men's and women's basketball, women's soccer, volleyball, and baseball. And then with women's basketball and baseball, we are the flagship station here in South Florida. So we cover every game, home and away. I also do some TV work for the University of Miami television station, covering sports and reporting and doing some analyzation type of things. And yeah, I love being down here and love being a part of just a great athletic program. And thank you, James, for having me on.
Of course. All right, so something I wanted to bring up when we went mini golfing the other day, and I got whooped, but right before we started, you were talking about your new opportunity with ESPN, and
Yeah.
I wanted you to tell, well, both me and the audience a little more about that.
Yeah, so I got recommended by a couple of friends of mine down here at UM to get a job within our athletics department in conjunction with ESPN and their family of networks, so the ACC network, ESPNU, ESPN Extra, and all that good stuff, as a production assistant. So pretty much just if there's a game on campus, whatever sport it is, anything from, I could be running a camera to working in the video booth and, doing instant replay or graphics or producing or anything like that. But a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, and then hoping to see if that can lead into an on-camera role with ESPN and their family of networks to give a lot of students opportunities like that for like pregame, postgame, halftime, stuff like that with different sports. So yeah, starting small now, and then we'll keep building on it. And yeah, it'll be fun. Looking for a fun semester and a fun year with a lot of broadcasts, both on and off camera.
Yeah. So follow-up question there. Do you have a lot of experience? Because I know you got a bunch in front of the mic, but like behind the camera, like you said, you mentioned production room replay. Do you have a lot of experience with that, or is that like something new for you?
So I got quite a bit of experience from that. As you know, James, in high school at Chaminade, I was part of the media program there, and I would do a lot of behind-the-scenes live broadcast stuff. And then a lot of my classes here are entailed around purely behind the scenes, both like just working with a camera in the field, and then also, live broadcasts, set up for a live broadcast, running through live broadcasts, and then I partake, like I said, in the in UMTV and our show Sports Desk, which has won 5 or 6 Emmys in a row now, collegiate Emmys. We're
Really?
killing, love it there. Yeah. We just won
That I didn't know.
6th in a row for our show last year. But it's fun, and I do on camera and behind the camera production stuff for them, and then I do behind the camera production for our our SNL comedy show thing called Off the Wire, which a couple of my friends produce, or the producers of, and so I help them with like more of the behind the scenes, hands on stuff. I'm not in front of the camera for that, dude. I'm not funny enough, but
Maybe one day.
No, never. We both know it's never.
All right. All right. One more thing. So, I remember this past spring, I think you did make a special appearance on ESPN, if I remember.
I did make a special appearance on ESPN.
Bring that up. Come on. Brag about that.
In I was in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, at the University of Southern Mississippi, covering Miami baseball in the first round of the collegiate playoffs, so in the regionals. So they were in a regional with Southern Miss, Alabama, and Columbia. And we were at the hotel one night, me and my broadcast partner, and we ran into the ESPN crew that were covering all the games for that regional. And, we sat with them in the lobby for like an hour after a game talking, had food, whatever. And they were like, you know what? Just tell your folks to watch ESPN tomorrow. Next day, we're broadcasting our game. Foul ball. Literally, I lean out the window. It hits my hands. And the ESPN booth next to us thought it broke our window. So they're like looking to make sure we're okay. They end up telling the producers to pan the camera up to us, and they started having like a 5-minute conversation about that was on ESPN. So there's a great picture of me like mid-broadcast, and it says like Miami Student Radio.
Yeah.
And the names on it. But it's a really fun experience, and I got some great connections through that. So, it's just awesome. Awesome.
Sounds awesome, dude. Especially when I saw Liam send me that picture.
Yeah, Liam
that was so funny.
Why he was watching Miami versus Southern Miss blows my mind. But you know what? He sent the picture, so it's...
He did, yeah.
Shout out, Liam.
All right. Speaking of ESPN, that is what we are talking about today. Yeah. A big deal happened last week between the ESPN and the NFL, more specifically ESPN's parent company, Disney. The main headline that I saw on Front Office Sports was Disney is buying the NFL network, and the NFL is also in return getting a 10% stake in ESPN.
Yeah.
And when I saw that hit, I could not believe it at first. So basically, ESPN will be acquiring the rights to NFL Network and also its main shows, most notably the famous NFL Red Zone. And as I just mentioned, the NFL is getting a 10% ownership stake in ESPN, which is, I believe, the first time a major sports league has a chunk of, a media company, a media company that reports on sports. Obviously, there's, what was NFL Network, MLB TV, or MLB Network, sorry. But something that is separate from
the
league
think this
itself.
Is the first time that we're seeing a league in its own buy into a purely media entity. A lot of leagues have their own forms of media, like you said, MLB and MLB TV. But I think this is really the first time we're seeing a league itself buy some stake in a media conglomerate like ESPN. But it really interesting deal, really interesting deal. And I saw the same headline on Front Office Sports. They're great, by the way. Just incredible. Adam White, their CEO, former guy. Had a chance to meet him. Great guy.
Shout out.
Shout out Adam White. Awesome guy. But, just a crazy deal to go through. And I think it's going to completely change the way we see media deals go through. I'm sure we'll get to it, but I don't know if you saw the deal UFC just struck with CBS.
Yeah. But that's also huge.
Crazy. Yeah.
We're still getting the details from that too.
So
it's every time I check it, something's changed about the
what
deal.
I first heard for that one was it was $7 billion that CBS paid to UFC, but UFC is getting, I don't know what the percentages they're getting, but they're also getting a percentage of CBS's revenue.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna get something back.
That I didn't know. So I guess the NFL has started a trend here.
That's why they're eliminating pay-per-view. But I think it all started with ESPN's thing, because that deal just shook it shook the whole market.
But yeah, especially the no pay-per-view thing was crazy. And then I think there's still supposed to, I heard from yesterday that there's still supposed to be some events of the UFC that are still going to be
they're
pay-per-view,
gonna pick and choose type of thing. But
most of it isn't.
Yeah.
But especially I think you had to spend over $1,000 on with ESPN Plus, or because it's not on ESPN Plus, you had to buy it separately through ESPN Plus. Oh, you did? That I didn't know.
You have to have ESPN Plus to buy the pay-per-view.
Wow. That I didn't know. I thought you could just buy the pay-per-view up front. Maybe you still could. I wouldn't know because I never bought it.
I'm pretty sure, but
having it with the subscription is crazy too. I think that's a good deal until Paramount raises the price.
Oh yeah, of course.
That might be inevitable. I mean, because
And
you
you
got to
can't
make the
watch,
money
and you
back.
can't watch
Like,
Napoli do it, but
hey,
but
we'll see.
the ESPN deal that they
Yeah,
struck,
back to ESPN.
crazy, crazy,
Yeah,
crazy. And I mean, my concern about it is the same thing I had with UFC. Am I going to have ESPN Plus in order to buy or pay for NFL Red Zone or
yeah,
bonus content or whatever it is? So I don't know if Sunday Ticket's a part of it because I think Sunday Ticket's still with YouTube, but whatever. You know, how does it affect for the consumer? You know, how is it affecting my pocket with this new deal?
yeah. Well, especially ESPN is coming out with their new streaming service too. I think that
Yeah.
drops soon, actually. Trying to remember. I think the streaming service is just straight up called ESPN. Also, like they're
Yeah,
doing away
man.
with ESPN Plus.
They're gonna, yeah, they want to like completely overhaul their whole.
Yeah,
There it is, August 21st.
I was gonna say I just found it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, $29.99 a month.
That's kind of steep, but like if it depends what you're getting, because now obviously you have the NFL's content on there. That's gonna
And
drive
Red
it.
Zone and Red Zone.
Yeah.
But I
Well, in
mean,
Red Zone, I mean, I think a good question is because I remember Red Zone was like mad expensive. I feel like this past season, right?
Red Zone is really expensive, and they put commercials in it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna stay. I think because
No,
that was towards the end of the
that's
season.
100% going to stay. That's 100%.
Yeah.
Especially with ESPN,
well,
it's going to stay.
once you add commercials, there's no taking the commercials out. I mean,
No, they're making too
you're
much
just
money off.
well,
Let's be honest.
yeah, the company's just leaving money on the table. You'd be kind of stupid to take them out from like
But
a profit standpoint.
I mean, $29.99 a month. Like, even if I'm just getting it for football season, think about it.
Yeah.
That's September to February. So that's what?
Well, you probably don't need Red Zone for. Well, I wonder if you have to get the playoff games on there too. So
Right, you probably do.
yeah,
Because remember, a lot of these games are only on streaming. They're only
I don't
on
think they've
streaming.
done that for playoff games yet, if I'm not mistaken. 'Cause
No, they
did
have.
that for
They do it for the wild card games. The wild card games.
Wild
there's
Card was
always
on
one.
streaming.
There's one that's always only streaming.
Wow,
Yeah.
I gotta
So think
catch
about
up, man.
That's 5 or 6 months that you gotta pay.
Yeah, $30.
Right.
That adds up.
That's a lot of money, dude. Especially for a college student. I'm not paying that. Are you serious? Like,
Yeah, I don't know about that one. $30.
30 bucks a month.
I mean, I think it's more of just a wait and see personally, because obviously, like you can like crap on it right now, but then like it's all like hindsight's 2020. Like it could actually
Yeah.
become a really good deal. Like
Right.
even
It
this
could
year,
end up- it could end
even
up
next
working.
year. And then we still don't know about this year because when I was reading the article, it said, and especially like some of the videos I was watching, like all the effects don't take place until the 2026 season. So
Yeah,
like even this
2026.
season's still going to be kind of similar. I feel like broadcast wise to last season.
Yeah.
Obviously some differences because I don't something I'm not too sure about is like if. Because it says like ESPN is gonna have games on NFL Network, so it seems like NFL Network might still be its own channel potentially
Yeah,
on
I
cable.
think like on your cable, I think NFL Network's
Yeah.
gonna be its own thing.
Because
I
I
think-
still have YouTube TV for cable, and
Right. I think that this might do away with that whole NFL Plus thing that they tried last year. That was a
Yeah.
complete fail, by the way. It failed.
I don't
mean,
even really remember what
the only
or
reason
NFL
people-
Plus was.
The only reason people got it was because it had Red Zone included in it.
Yeah,
So people would buy it. And they gave it to like season ticket members and stuff. But I mean, if you're gonna pay $30 a month, why am I gonna pay for NFL Plus? You're not. You're only gonna
Yeah.
pay for Red Zone and whatever.
but oh sorry.
Very good. My concern is, does ESPN now, because they have this deal, what happens with Prime, with Fox, with NBC, with CBS, who all still have rights to NFL games? You know what I mean? Is there going to be something in here where sooner or later either one of these companies is going to try to make a deal, or or one of these companies going to back out, and is ESPN going to try to slowly just take the entire NFL? You know what I mean?
It's actually, I didn't even think about that, honestly.
It's such a weird. It puts everything in limbo.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
well, just because it's so unprecedented.
Right. And then think about it. Like, we're both fans of out of market teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're a Charger
in the
fan.
same division.
Yeah, same division. But you know, I'm a Raider fan. You're a Charger fan. We live on the opposite side of the country. The only way for us to watch games is with things like NFL Sunday Ticket or Red Zone or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? So I wonder, even with this new deal, does that become a part of it? Do they keep increasing the price, and do they allow out-of-market games? And they basically take what Sunday Tickets do and implement that. There's a lot of ways it can go, which makes me like, half of me is excited about to see where it can go, and the other half of me is like, screw that, I'm not paying money. But
yeah,
it's weird.
So my concern is, I'm going to circle back to that where you talked about, is ESPN like going to buy out the other networks? I feel like in the NFL's case, I feel like that might be a little harder, just because like every media company that has a deal with NFL's like in the billions, you know, like ESPN was still paying a ton, like even just for Monday Night Football. I have that up here.
Yeah, 2.7 billion.
2.7 billion, yeah.
For Monday Night.
And that was just for their previous deal, and now
and
they're getting
we
more.
know the NFL's popular. We know the NFL is always, you know, NFL games are always like the most highly watched live events on television, on cable television every year. You know,
I hear that all the time in sport management.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Whenever you go over like top watch programs, like you have like election debate and like the Oscars, and then like all of it's just football, like even college football too takes up a lot of space.
I think the NFL did 70 of the 100.
72 of the top 100 last year, because I ended up looking it up because I remembered. I'm like, hey, they were always talking about that at school, but 72 of the 100 most watched broadcasts last year were NFL games.
Yeah,
I think like there's only like 16 games a week too. I don't want to say
not even. But there's bye weeks, dude.
There's bye weeks. You're right.
I mean, maybe the
like
first
that's so crazy.
There is, but
because you would think like, oh, maybe like the playoff games would be the most watched, but then when it's like just regular season games too,
you see
it's insanely valuable. You could see why ESPN and more specifically Disney would want to acquire that.
It's the biggest moneymaker in the media industry in the United States, 100%.
In the media, I was going to say TV, obviously.
In media, yeah.
Wow. Because obviously, you know, cable's been on the downturn compared to streaming. And
right. But think about it. If you wanted to watch Thursday night football, Sunday night football, games during the week, or on Sunday, regular on TV games, and Monday night football, you need an Amazon Prime subscription for Thursday. You need both CBS and NBC, which means you need a CBS and
Paramount and Peacock,
Fox,
right?
And Fox.
And Fox, yeah, that's right.
Games. Right, so you're paying for a cable subscription, or you're paying for either Paramount or Fox or whatever. Then you need Peacock to stream on NBC, and then you need ESPN.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And if they're, you know, that's $50, $60 a month. A month. Plus now with the
just
new
for
deal,
live sports.
Just for the NFL. Then you want to add anything else on it. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, and then Netflix for the Christmas games.
Oh, I completely forgot about that too.
Yeah.
Netflix has a deal.
I think it's a multi-year deal, right? I'm not mistaken with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they would do that just for a one-off thing, you know.
Listen, Netflix. The best thing Netflix could have done was get into live sports, though. I mean, we're just talking about the trends that you see with the NFL. Look at Netflix, dude. They got NFL games now for Christmas. They have full control of WWE. They have every WWE event, main event, whatever, is all on Netflix. And they have all the boxing fights. They're doing all the live.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, was it the Mike Tyson fight?
Yeah, Tyson and Paul.
I mean,
the Netflix fight.
That wasn't exactly their best stream quality, but that was also a great stress test for them when it came
Right.
to that NFL game, because when I turned on I didn't watch too much of the NFL games because the Knicks were on Christmas,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
that
yeah.
always takes priority. But I watched a little bit because both games were also blowouts. Now I'm remembering the game,
Yeah.
but it looked pretty good. Like I
No, it
think
was good.
Netflix had it down on
They,
the
no, they did a
Christmas
good
games
job.
too, and they're
But
going to
I
be
mean,
expanding to other things because I know the F1 media rights are up for grabs now.
yeah,
Because I
and they
don't know
want
if
to
I don't think ESPN is going to renew, or they might
they
try,
don't
but it
they
depends
want
on
to leave ESPN, I
F1.
think.
Yeah,
Because I think they're losing money because they use technically the broadcast they use on ESPN is the Sky Sports coverage from the UK.
yeah,
So I think they're losing. I think there's something in there where they're losing money. So I could see them switching to Netflix. They already have Drive to Survive.
yeah. That's true. That's a good
You know,
point.
that could work. But I mean, ESPN right now, in terms of football, has everything right in the palm of their hand. They basically control college football at this point because if it's not if it's a
Yeah,
national game, it's on ESPN, and if it's a lower tier game, it's on ESPN Plus. They
yeah.
college
Especially
athletics
UMass.
runs through ESPN.
Because I think the only thing the only company they're really competing with right now is Fox for like
And
the media
Fox is
rights.
just the Big 12 and the
And
Big
they're
10. That's it.
yeah, Big 12, which is nothing to scoff at. Obviously, the Big 10 especially has been
Right.
expanding. Same as
ESPN
the
controls
SEC with ESPN.
the ACC and the SEC. Who maybe in football we all know the SEC is big, but think about these other
Yeah,
sports, dude. Baseball, basketball, everything. The ACC and the SEC are like that. Sometimes even more so
yeah,
than the Big Ten.
or especially basketball this past season. Well, I mean ACC was a
ACC
little
was bad,
weaker, but
but I'm sorry. In
historically they're good. But then to have SEC set like the record for like most teams from a conference to make
they were
March
sick, dude.
Madness,
Everybody in the
yeah,
SEC was good this year.
it was crazy
Everybody
too.
was good this year.
I didn't want to believe it either until the tournament games actually came. I'm like, okay, I have to give it to the SEC.
You know what I believed it really. When Arkansas whooped Michigan at
Yeah,
MSG, and Michigan was supposed to be a really good team, and that was like 2 weeks after I watched Arkansas destroy Miami, and I was like,
yeah,
if Arkansas is a middle of the road team, think about the Tennessees, Auburns, Bamas, Floridas. They're sick.
yeah. Well, especially since Arkansas beat St. John's,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
mean, I saw St. John's having trouble in March Madness just because their shooting was suspect, but like
A
that
lot.
was
Well,
I didn't
a lot,
expect Arkansas to beat them.
a lot of people. Some people had to lose in first round. It
Yeah,
just
that was
it
not
was.
happening, but
I,
I could have seen second round, but
I thought
not.
if they beat Arkansas, I think they would have gone on a
Yeah.
run. I think
Or
that was the
no,
game.
they played Kansas. That's what Arkansas played Kansas in the first round, and I had
Yeah,
Kansas
and
beating
beat them.
St. John's. And so when Arkansas
Yeah,
beat St. John's, I'm like, all right, I didn't lose too much points in my
yeah,
bracket. My bracket didn't end up too well anyway. But
but
enough about
yeah,
my bracket.
like
Nobody wants to
yeah,
hear about that.
I mean it's really something like the SEC is, and taking it back to a media side of things. Think about it this year. Florida just won a national championship in basketball. So that's going to be they're going to be on SEC Network or ESPN all the time, right?
Yeah,
And now, the top 25 just came out for college football, and I think there's 6 SEC teams on there.
there's six.
Something like
Okay,
that.
well, I kind of expect to hear that though. I feel like there's always a lot of SEC
There's a
teams.
lot of Big Ten teams this year. A lot of Big Ten
Really,
teams.
I didn't check
Yeah.
the top 25 yet. So
So I can pull it up right
Word.
now because I know Penn State is 2. So Texas is 1. That's SEC.
Texas is one. Okay.
Yeah. Georgia 5. That's SEC. Bama 8. LSU 9. South Carolina's 13. Florida's 15. A&M 19. Ole Miss 21. Tennessee 24. So that's 9 SEC teams in the top 25.
Yeah, 9. Wow.
That's crazy.
I was gonna say, I know Florida has DJ Lagway now.
Yeah.
Like that, he looks good.
Actually, their starting quarterback.
Yeah,
He looks really good. I know he's dealing with an injury. He's
he
dealing with
is.
like a
Okay,
leg
I haven't
injury.
I haven't been catching up with college football lately, but
But
Actually, that's starting soon. I gotta catch up.
But full effect. But
yeah,
yeah, DJ's dealing with something. But I mean, he's gonna be a good quarterback, dude. And if he can, he showed it in spurts last year. That game against Tennessee, he looked really good. So we'll see. I mean, the SEC's got a lot of guys like that. Like I think Garrett Nussmeier on LSU is going to be just an absolute.
LSU has just been like a quarterback factory too, lately. I mean,
he's
Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, and now Nussmeier.
He's going to be good. He's going to be really good.
Especially with now he's got a year under his belt.
Right.
Same with Lagway.
Right. A better team.
I mean, Lagway didn't have a full season, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. The only thing with Lagway is they're gonna put Billy Napier. This is it, dude. Like
yeah.
And as much as I say it because I go to Miami and I'm a Miami fan and everything, that game against Miami week 4 is do or die for the Gators. Like that's their season. They let Cam Ward walk into their house and ransack them last year. Now they got to walk into Hard Rock against a brand new quarterback on Miami and Carson Beck, a young team. We just lost everybody. Like, realistically, that's a game that Florida's got to win if Billy Napier wants to keep his job. The SEC's cutthroat.
It also depends on how the season shakes up because obviously, like, they go like 11-1, 12-1, and that one losses to Miami. It's like, who cares? Especially with the new format, you know.
You like the new format? Let's go into that. I really want. I honestly
the side tangent of all side tangents.
I really want to know if you like the new format.
I don't know how to feel. I liked it because I loved Arizona State's story last season. I just loved that they came out of nowhere. They were projected to be like 10th in the Big 12, and then they won the whole damn thing. Because Arizona State was one of the schools I was considering too. And so I got to dust off that crew neck I had sitting in my closet for a couple of years now. And they almost beat Texas. And in my opinion, I think they should have. They kind of they screwed the pooch on that one.
Listen, but to their credit, that's what happens when you can run the ball and play defense. Like
yeah. And I think that was arguably the best game of the playoffs. Like, because a lot of them were blowouts. I mean, there was close ones too, but like I'd say personally, I think that was my favorite.
That was a great game. That was a really fun game.
Just because having seeing David versus Goliath, I just love those type of games.
Yeah. But I feel like you're still going to see that. You're still going to see that with the new format. Like you're always going to have that one. Like even Boise State making the playoffs was fun. I mean, they got
the Jency story. That was great.
That was fun. I mean, there's definitely going to be teams like that this year where it's the same type of deal. Like, I can't see a group of 5 team making it. I just can't.
Yeah.
But
this season?
This season, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I don't
think there's going to be well, there was an ACC team, but I'm trying to think
well, so the ACC winner makes it. There was 2 ACC teams last year because there was Clemson.
Yeah, SMU and Clemson because SMU lost in the championship game. And that was the whole debate going into the selection was. All right. I think it was Bama or SMU. Let's get off your high horse. I don't think Miami was in that discussion.
We were, dude. If we beat Syracuse, we're in.
Maybe.
But that was bad. But I mean,
did not beat Cuse though. So
not beat.
You know,
I think I think the Big 12 is the conference where if there's anybody that's going to just be randomly good, it's going to be somebody out of the Big 12. And no, it's not going to be Colorado, but it'll be I could see Kansas State being randomly good. It could just happen. I think
Iowa State kept a lot of their players, right? If I'm not mistaken.
And Iowa State is keeping a lot of their players. A lot of players. Receiving core is going to go down a little bit. They had a couple guys go to the draft, go to the league. I think they're a tough team, dude. And I don't see out of another smaller schools like G5. I don't see Boise being the same Boise State they just were. I don't see. You go conference by conference. It's like there's nobody scares me in the Mountain West. Nobody scares me in the Sun Belt. Nobody scares me in the American. Everybody kind of just exists. You never know. Maybe one of the military academies goes crazy again like they did last year. Navy and Army were both great. So
Yeah,
Maybe it's
I
something
mean,
like that.
I think it was Army that was like undefeated until they played Notre Dame too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they had a crazy run to start the season, so it
They
could be
were
one of them
both
that
good.
gets the Group of Five spot.
They were both good teams. They were both good teams. Um, I don't know. And then conference realignment. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
Um,
that's been a big topic of discussion.
yeah, man.
Although, one more thing about college football before we wrap it up a little bit here. Um, are they changing the format? Because I feel like I've seen stuff on. I don't know if they did or not. Where
I don't think
like
they
they're
should
changing. Because I liked
leave it.
having the conference winners get the bye week
Yeah, right. The
personally.
conference winners should get the bye
Because I know a
week.
lot of people
But
had problems with it because the teams were not like as ready as the teams that were able to play an actual game. Because obviously you could practice in a full game situation, but that's not the same as a real game.
and then there's
I
also the
mean,
people that say like you could have a group of five team that went undefeated. You could have a 13-0 G5 team. You know what I mean? Or 12-0 rather. But a 12-0 G5 team or 13-0 if they win their conference, and they don't get a
yeah,
bye. And even though they're a 13-0 team, 2 lost Bama won the SEC and they have a bye. So, I mean that's the other thing. Like, do you think it should be 1 through 4, like just based off the AP? I don't think so. I think group winners.
no, I
And
think
then
they
you
should.
get
I think they should keep it as the group winners because, you know what I actually did during conference championship week? I watched the conference championship games because
yeah.
like the
Because
ACC game especially,
yeah, you
was
want to
Clemson
see.
going to get the spot or was SMU going to lock it in? Was
And
who was going to get the bye week? Texas or
yeah,
Georgia?
of course.
I wouldn't have cared because like, oh, both these teams are going to make it anyway
Right.
originally. But then when you have that, it
I'm
gives like more meaning to a conference
to the
championship
conference
game.
games, right? Of course. I mean, my personal grudge right now is the AP poll literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
anymore.
but it
Because
hasn't
there's the
mattered since
separate
like 2014. Let's be real.
there's the separate playoff poll. No, but it did.
Yeah.
It did matter.
No, because
And
that's
now
when.
it's just now no, because now there's the playoff poll the last 3 weeks before the playoffs.
Yeah, but
It's
that's been a thing
separate.
for years, hasn't it?
But now I think it's different now. I mean, before it was only 1 through 4. That was the whole UCF debacle. That UCF in
Yeah.
2019 or 2021 went 13-0 and didn't make the playoffs. And then since then there was TCU made it with Max Duggan, and then Cincinnati made it with Spencer Rattler. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of just I don't like the separate rankings. I feel like it should be. I feel like the perfect medium is 1 through 4 are the group winners or the conference winners, and then 5 through 12 are the next best on the AP poll.
On the AP poll. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you there because I feel like sometimes the AP poll gets it better than the CFP poll.
Yeah. I am also a salty
I agree with
Miami
you
fan.
there.
Watch us go 13.
That's also
So-
true because you guys probably had a better chance with the AP poll deciding it than
Yep.
than the committee.
Yep. But
All right.
it's fine.
Circle back to ESPN NFL here, just
Gotcha.
right before we end. One thing I did notice, which is something I didn't notice until I started doing a little bit of the research for this episode, was the Super Bowl deal that ESPN already had with the NFL. Apparently, or not apparently, this is true. ESPN is airing their first ever Super Bowl. I didn't realize they never broadcasted the
Really?
Super Bowl before. That's going to happen in 2027. It's going to be ESPN's first ever Super Bowl, and then obviously ESPN has the deal with ABC, so it also airs on ABC, and it's going to be
Yeah.
ABC's first Super Bowl since Super Bowl 40, and that's going to be airing in 2027. Super Bowl 61. And I thought that was interesting because one, they're adding somebody else into the rotation, but then like now that the NFL owns a 10% stake of ESPN, does that give the NFL more of an incentive to give not
Right,
every
DC.
I don't think they'll give every Super Bowl to ESPN.
But instead
But-
of it being once every 4 or 5 years, it's once every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's a valid question.
Yeah, every
It's
other
a
year it's
valid,
on
very
ESPN.
valid
Because,
question.
like, I know we have the rotation of, like, Fox, CBS, NBC.
Yeah.
I think that's the rotation,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, where they always
Mhm.
debut their new scoreboard for the next few years.
And then I
Or
complain about it.
Scorebug. Yeah.
Then we complain about it. Then it gets
Yep.
torched on Twitter.
And then you end up liking it sooner or later. Well, it depends on the scorebug.
You
I
never know.
didn't like
You know what
the
we got to bring
new one
back?
from.
You know what scorebug we got to bring back? The Fox scorebug from like 2012 when it had the,
Yeah.
the
The
logos
two
and the
or
numbers.
the Oh, with the logos. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll agree
yeah,
with
yeah,
that
yeah.
better because they used to just have. I think it was a little after that they had just like the abbreviation of the team, and
Oh
then the
yeah,
score, and then the
the
time.
28 to 3 one.
Yeah, that's one of them. Because they did that.
No,
Like they would just change something slight about it.
they
And
gotta
they had
bring
that for
back.
years.
They gotta bring back here. See if I can get a picture of it. The really old people don't like it actually. I think it's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna have to,
There we go. Bang. This one.
There we go.
That
Oh
one's
my
great.
god, I remember that. Oh
That's
my
a great
god.
score bug. Like, that's a great score bug.
21-3. That's
Really? That was the other way around. But
yeah.
that
Other way
I
around,
like it.
but
I like
dude,
it.
I
That's a good
totally
one.
forgot about that one. You just unlocked like old memories of me like first watching
You
the
know,
NFL.
you're telling me you haven't watched like old Adrian Peterson highlights when he's on the Vikings, like running through guys, and that's
Yeah,
the
but they don't
score
have the
bug?
score bug all the time in those. Like, they'll
Yeah.
have the music in the
Like,
background.
I bet you $10. Go look it up after. The Marshawn Lynch Beastquake run against the Saints has that score bug.
Is it that scoreboard?
I'm like 97.5%
It
sure.
might be. I'm not gonna say it's something else because I'm thinking of like one of the newer Fox score bugs. But
Yeah, that are trash.
yeah,
Yeah.
some are better than others. I like I don't know if it's Fox's. It might be Fox's. What are the college football ones? Where they kind of have like the team logo. I'm trying to think of how to describe it.
That's Fox. Yes.
That's Fox?
It's got the
Yeah.
logo on the side of the score. Like
Yeah, and like it's kind of tilted. Like it's not like symmetrical.
yeah,
Like
it's
everything's
like
a
on
little
an angle, and
tilted.
then it has the team name and the record. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
great
kind of
score
like
bug.
it because it's not like like the imperfections of it make it look kind of cool. At
Yeah,
least in my
right. It
opinion.
looks cool. It looks cool. It's
Yeah.
modern.
Because
I like
it's not like. Well, I won't say it's modern because I feel like a lot of the modern scoreboards
It's very simple.
side too much on like the simplistic side, where it's like, or not simplistic, minimalist. That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for. Minimalist.
That's
Some of
that's
these
a good
scorebugs
point.
are too minimalist, especially the new Fox one that was during the Super Bowl that just happened.
Don't even talk
Philly
about it.
Chiefs.
So it's terrible.
I did not like. Maybe it'll grow. Like I said, because I've had score bugs during the Super Bowl. I'm like, I didn't like that, and then the next season comes around. I'm like, why did I hate this? But
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I just did not like it.
Hey, CBS
It's too
gets it right.
minimalist.
Just saying.
It's too minimalist. So yeah. CBS. I like CBS's. I think
CBS
ESPN has a
sounds
good one too.
Yeah, I
And
think
we'll be
CBS
seeing that more now. So
Yeah, a lot more. A lot more.
all right. Well, thank you for coming on, Luca. I know you've
man.
just moved into Miami for
Yeah.
also your junior year. I still
Yeah.
got a few weeks, so
Yeah. We start next week. Hey, you know what? I'm back in Miami. That means college football's 2 weeks away. All right.
That's true.
I'll be at Hard Rock August 31st against Notre Dame for sure.
that's gonna be a great game. That's gonna be a great game,
Gonna be a big time game. Big time game.
especially on a Sunday night too.
Sunday night, Carson Beck debut under the lights. Should be fun. Hopefully, hoping for a repeat of 2017. Last time we played them.
Yeah.
Now
You're
I think
hoping.
they're number 6. We're number 10. We were 9 and they were 3 last time. They lost. We beat them like 48-3. Like that was a bad beating. So who knows? Hey man, UMass in the MAC. Let's go.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I remember we got Tuesday night games. I think it's either Tuesday or Wednesday night,
That's elite.
and like we have
Midweek-
a couple. We actually have a couple of them too.
I love
Some
midweek
action up in Amherst, dude.
There's nothing going
Should be
like
excited,
this.
especially with the new coach. I'm really excited about our new coach too.
Oh yeah, new coach,
Because-
right?
It's new coach. We got more NIL funding. It should be interesting.
Yeah. Get UConn in the MAC. That'd be fun. That's a team that should be in the
Yeah.
MAC.
We'll see. Because obviously there's probably still more realignment to come. Obviously, especially with the Pac-12 scrapping
Once
teams
the
now.
Pac gets going, who's gonna move
Yeah.
out to?
Because I think
like,
it's
West?
still like I think this season. Is there more teams this season, or is it not take
No,
effect until
no.
next season?
This season it's still just Wazoo and Oregon State. You know they're playing a
Got it.
doubleheader.
They are.
They
That's
play
cool.
each other twice this year, home and home.
That's cool. Honestly,
It's like the first week in November and the last week in November. Like there's only like a game or two in between. It's cool. It's a cool little setup.
that should be cool then.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Because I don't think they do a conference championship for the Pac right now. That might be a little redundant, but unless they split the games, maybe then they'll have to come up with something.
We gotta play a third one. We gotta figure it out.
They have to decide, man.
Wazoo, what are we gonna do?
All right.
Hey.
On that note, oh shit.
No, you're good. You're good.
Cut you off. Sorry, Luca. You're off. All right. Thank you for joining us today. I'm James McCormick. This is Luca. Make sure to check him. I'm not pointing the right way, probably. Make sure to check Luca out on whatever broadcast you do with WVUM, maybe ESPN in the near future.
Yeah.
Check him out when you get the chance. Check out, if you liked this episode, check out the McCormick Student Leaders podcast. That's my main one at school, so that's going to be the one I'll be locked in on once the school year begins. So check that out if you want to check out the previous episodes and to follow it to make sure you catch up with the future episodes. Also follow the socials for this podcast to keep up with the episodes and when we're uploading and some clips. Just check it out if you liked this. And so for that, once again, I'm James McCormick. This was Luca. Thank you guys for watching.